What's going on, family? Welcome back to another episode of the Wealth Talk Podcast. It's your boy, The Wolf, and we've been making moves in the Discord. We locked in some solid wins on Bitmine and Apple. Meanwhile, the broader markets are heating up. You had quad witching last week that just hit. Money flowed in heavy on Friday into the close, and investors are still betting big on more Fed cuts this year. So let's break down the plays we hit, what the end of the day flow means and what's lined up next week that could shape the markets. All right, family. So we have to start with our disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is just what I see, what I believe, and what I'm doing. So always do your own research, your own homework, and manage risk. All right, family. And we have to get into our money mindset moment. That's just a positive affirmation for y'all. Now, wins feel good, but discipline pays better. All right, family. I'm saying that again for y'all. Wins feel good, but discipline pays better. All right, family. Now, let's jump straight into it. We have Bitmine, Apple, fam. Now, it's been wild. I'm gonna share my screen for y'all so I could see what's been going on with Bitmine first. All right, where we at with it? All right, so Bitmine, fam. It's been moving at least this past 2 weeks, right? So this was August 30th, right? And we called out the $50 call for January 2026, and that was $10.30, which was $1,000 and $30 to get into one contract. All right, so it was a little bit expensive, but you also could have got into other Bitmine trades that was closer in expiration that could have been a little bit cheaper. Now, when we called that play out, that was a Friday, so going into the next week, it was around $43. All right, family. As y'all can see, Bitmine is currently at 61, and it's already hit a high from since we called it out at 64. So that trade was a major win. Literally within 1 week, turned $1,000 into 1,700, and then the next week that contract hit 24, which was $2,400. So you could have doubled your money easily off of this trade within 1 week. All right, family. Now, why did we call Bitmine out? And Bitmine, if you don't know, they're a heavy Ethereum crypto treasury company. This is the easiest way to say it. And the story was just getting a lot of traction. One of the top analysts out there is backing the company, and there's a lot of big time investors that's also backing the company. So there's a lot of popularity with this company. They're sitting on billions of dollars in Ethereum and cash, and the market's been rewarding that positioning. And as speculative money rotated back into crypto-linked plays, Bitmine gave us a clean win. Now, I was watching this trade for the past 2 months. I remember when I first saw it, I saw Bitmine, it was around this level. Yeah, it was at like $130. I didn't even know it was around until I saw Tom Lee start to talk about it. And once I've been watching it, I saw it pull all the way back to the $30 range, and I saw it run up again. I'm like, great, I missed it, and then it pulled back again to $40. So that's when I was like, you know what? Let me stop playing around. Let me hop into one of these leaps because Ethereum was also at a level of support. So that was a great trade. Shout out to everyone that got into this trade and that ate on it. If you're still in it, you can still win because obviously the play doesn't expire until January. So I'm a little bit upset at myself because I should have stayed in this trade a little bit longer. I took a 60% gain, which is great. I'm not going to complain about a 60% gain. But when you have time on your side and you do your homework, family, and you're confident in the trade, let the trade run. Because you get to a point where you sell too early and now you're going out there looking for the next trade. But you had the trade. There was no reason for me to really get out. It was only because I saw profit and I got out. Now, there's a difference between taking profit and letting your winners run. All right, family, because you could cut yourself short and you could really miss out on those big wins as to where, let's say if I would have waited out a week and I made $2,000, $3,000 off of one contract, now I don't really have to trade. I could sit back for a little bit and wait for the next trade to come to me instead of me searching for the next trade. I hope that makes sense, family. But yeah, Bitmine was a great trade. I was definitely happy about that one. A lot of the members in the chat was happy about that one as well. Now, the next one I want to show you that we called out was Apple, family. So let's see when we called that one out. All right, it's the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, it's free by the way. Make sure y'all tap in, fam. We're giving out great plays. I think every single one we gave out has been a hitter. All right. Now we called out Apple on September 10th. It was a 240 call that expires in October. All right. Now, as you can see, Apple is above 240, fam. We killed them. All right. Now, I called this out last week. Apple was at 228, 227 range. Where is it at now, family? All right. So, end of the day, if you if you're paying to learn how to trade or to learn how to find plays, hey, as you just see, it's free over here, fam. So if you want to tap in with us, you can jump in the Discord, ask us any questions you may have. Because what we're doing is the first 100 people that joins the Discord is going to be free. After that, we're gonna start charging, and we're not gonna even charge a lot, but we really want people to take this serious. So that's and our time is valuable as well. So we definitely feel like it's only fair if we just charge a little bit, just so that way the group chat doesn't get overcrowded, and it's only people in there that really wants to learn. All right, so get in there while you can, family. But yeah, as you know, Apple's iPhone 17 launch came through strong. Premium models are moving. Early sales data looked solid, and that gave the stock juice last week. Now, Apple also carried part of the Dow going higher on Friday. The Dow is the Dow Jones, which is the top 30 companies in the US and really in the world. And that's a textbook case of mixing fundamentals with timing and the right catalyst at the right moment. All right. So I think that was the perfect trade, especially when they had that product release out. And then when the products really released, that's when it really helped us out with this trade. So was super excited to see this one take off. I got out this one a little bit too early too, but like I said, profit is profit. I took what I can. I think I got out around like the 230 range, like real low 230s, and it ended up going right into the money real quick. So you're still in that trade. You're eating. Like I said, the play expires in October, so you have plenty of time to make some good money on that trade. Yeah, family, that's some of my favorite trades that we gave out in a Discord so far. So if you're in a Discord, you eating. If you're not in a Discord, you missing out, fam. That's all I just say. So what is next? All right. So last week was quad witching. Now, if you don't know what quad witching is, it's usually on a Friday, and it's when it's when a lot of the trading the trading types, how can I explain this, right? So the stock index futures, the stock index options, single stock options, single stock futures, they all expire on the same day. Family, we're talking about trillions of dollars. Everything is expiring on the same exact day. All right. Now that's kind of crazy, fam. So if you're in a trade and the trade is on quad witching, you're most likely going to see mad volatility. All right. Now this creates a massive volume spike as funds roll and close their positions. All right, so there was a lot going on at the end of the day on Friday. We saw money pour in it's really at the middle of the day around 12 o'clock. And that's really the institutions positioning themselves for what's next. And it lines up with the idea that investors are front running more rate cuts this year. I'm gonna show y'all what it looked like on Friday as far as like the SPY. It's just the overall market, so you can see what I'm talking about with the volatility. This was Friday. Market opened up 9:30, right? And then a little spike and it pulled back for most of the morning. Like the whole morning it's been pulling back. Around 11:30, you saw a huge reversal. And from there on out, the market just ran up the rest of the day into the close, right? There was a huge amount of money that poured into the markets. And like I said, it's just because people are front running that the Fed is going to cut rates. Now, you may be thinking like, why is cutting rates important for the market? Now, this just means that there's companies out there that borrow money, and when you borrow money, it costs to borrow money. So now that the rates are slashed and they're making it cheaper to borrow money. So if you're making it cheaper to borrow money, that means that the margins and the profit that you're making could be increased by that, which causes stocks to go up. All right, family. So That's a huge catalyst for the markets, and it could continue to help us stay in this bull market right now. A lot of the times we go off of historical analysis, right? So August should have been a bearish month, technically. September should have been a bearish month based off of historical analysis. But as of now, we are continuing to run up. So it says a lot. And there's a lot of institutional investors out there that has missed out on this bull run because they are expecting, or they were expecting, a pullback, right? So what's next? Now, right now, consensus sees at least two more rate cuts before year end, right? And they trimmed the rates 25 basis points. Let's try to break this down, right? They trimmed the rates 25 basis points this month. There still is a little bit of labor market weakness, which is giving the Fed cover, which means that the Fed is pretty much right for what they're doing, and they don't have to cut as much as they want to because of the labor markets. But it also means that the market, which is what we're trading in, may have more volatility. At the end of the day, if you're a trader, volatility is a good thing because it could play in your favor, but you have to be safe in the markets because it could play against you as well. All right, especially intraday, which means throughout the day, there could be some heavy swings up and down like we saw on Friday. Now, this is what we should look forward to. So next week, the Fed is going to be speaking and there's going to be a lot of key catalysts. So let's just do a quick calendar rundown to see what's going on. So on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. is the retail sales. So this is a big read on consumer strength. If it comes in hot, inflation fears tick back up. If it's a cool number, then the rate cut bets get stronger. All right. Now, anytime we're talking about rate cuts, it may happen. You're going to see the market go up. If you see that the market is not going towards that, you may see the market pull back. All right. The market wants the rate cuts. That's going to be the next way for us to keep going up. If there's any type of feeling or hints that the market may not cut, then you're going to see most likely see a pullback in the markets. All right, fam. Wednesday, let's see, at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, the industrial production and capacity utilization news is coming out. Now, this is just the factory activity check. Weak numbers equals a slowdown confirmation. Strong numbers equals it could make the Fed hesitate, all right? And that means hesitate on a rate cut. Now, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. is the initial jobless claim. So this is the weekly labor gauge. So it's just letting us know how labor is looking as far as the U.S. economy, right? Now, any spike here confirms labor weakness, which supports cuts, all right? Labor weakness equals Fed cuts. Labor strength equals no cuts. Now, if you're an investor and you're looking for the market to keep going up, you want that number to be weak, sadly. You want the Feds to have the outlook of cutting, all right? Now, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. is the producer price index. This is the wholesale inflation numbers, and if they call it PPI. So if PPI runs hot, it will spook the markets. If it cools, stocks will go up. All right, family? This is all next week. It's a lot to look forward to next week. And last but not least, Friday at 8:30 a.m., you have the consumer price index, it's the CPI and the core CPI. Now, this is the big one, all right? This is the Fed's favorite inflation compass. Now, the core CPI is the real market mover, all right? And expect volatility right at the release of it, all right? This is going to be 8:30 a.m., so you can't trade options, but you may want to be up a little bit early on this day if you decide to get on the market just to see how the market may react to it, all right, family? So if you're going to be swing trading or you're going to be taking trades more than a day out, be careful on Thursday because Friday this news will come out. And all week is going to be the Fed speech, FOMC tone, Powell, and other Fed officials will guide expectations. If they sound dovish, tech and growth could fly. And if they sound cautious, it could be choppy. All right, family. So just to close all of this out, we had some wins on Bitmine, Apple, and it's just proven a formula that spot catalysts or any type of catalyst that you may have, whether it's Ethereum with Bitmine or it's Apple product releases that's helping Apple go up. It's a proven method to help find plays. So if you have a play out there, if you're looking to get into a trade, look for a catalyst. That's just some type of news event or something that's going to help your company go up or down, depending on how you're betting on it to go. And line them up with any type of macro conditions. So right now we're in a bull market. And then we have positive news. So what does that mean? I'm going to bet on the company to go up because everything is kind of playing in my favor on a positive note. All right, family? And just execute with discipline. Stick to what you know. I'm a little bit tight that, I took profit early, but I was disciplined and I waited 2 months for that Bitcoin play. So it's important to, have the patience, have discipline, know what you want to do and stick to what you want to do. Don't follow someone else just because they're doing it and you want to take the bet. If you feeling risky, stick to casino or sports betting or something like that. Just this is not it. All right, fam. You can bet all you want, but when you lose your shirt, you lose your shirt. So it's important to stay disciplined in this market, family. And the next thing is the quiet wishing, which shows us where the big money is leaning towards. No, there is times where cloud witching will happen and the market will completely dump. This time around, cloud witching happened. There was a slight dump in the morning, and then there was a ton of money that came into markets that caused everything to go up, which means that big money is leaning towards another run. Now, next week calendar is loaded. The Feds could reset the tone in minutes. So stay sharp, stay disciplined, and remember, the goal isn't just catching one win, fam. The goal is staying in the game long enough to keep stacking your wins, fam. It's chess, it's not Tetris. So please let us know what y'all think in the comments. Let us know what y'all betting on. If you think there's any type of plays out there, we'd love to do some research on it. Get it out to the Discord if we can. Please send the video out to anyone you know that's looking to get into the market, that's just looking for someone to break down the stuff in a more simple way so they can understand it, they can learn it. Subscribe to the channel, family. We're here for y'all, which is why the Discord is still free. So let us know what y'all think, family. It's the Wolf. I'm out here. Peace.